Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Weekly Win. My name is Ken, and I'm joined as always by my co host Tim.
Hello, everyone.
And yesterday, for yesterday's video, we started to talk a little bit about midterm madness, and right at the last minute or so, we started to talk about abortion and Roe v. Wade and how that could affect the midterms. So we've decided to stick through and kind of discuss the midterms and some other tangential topics sort of together. Today, we're going to keep going on these abortion bills.
Yeah.
So Tim, yesterday you were about to lay the smackdown on me. I'm pretty sure, but you caught yourself. So let me give you some time to do that.
Well, as much as I personally would love to see, an outright ban on abortion at all times and everything, as I think most civilized societies recognize that killing children is a bad thing. I would like to think, at least. I don't see that happening. What I foresee happening with the Supreme Court is they will give some watered down opinion that doesn't really play either side very well. They might say, sure, states can ban abortion after 12 weeks, but it's up to the states, and honestly, it's not our job to take care of. And they give some wishy-washy opinion like that. And then, Texas, Oklahoma, Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee, sure, states like that are going to put in Mississippi, they're going to put in limits on abortion. States like New York, California, Oregon, Maine, they're not going to. And yes, I know Maine is considered a swing state, but let's be honest here. They're not going to put in any laws on abortion anytime soon. But they're going to not do anything. And for the majority of people, nothing's going to change. And so Democrats aren't going to be able to run on saying the Supreme Court's evil because for most of their voting base, nothing has changed. And Republicans will be able to say, yeah, we got a tiny victory. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to be a huge victory that they can ride.
That's pretty interesting. See, I'm not exactly sure how this is going to go either. I'm told by various news outlets that it's a 6-3 conservative court. But the reality is I think it's more like 5-4, and Gorsuch is still a swing vote for that 5. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. I kind of think that you might be right, though. You might be convincing me. The Supreme Court might take some watered down, yeah, that's not really our place sort of position. That's historically what they do. That's what they've done pretty much with, not DOMA, but marriage in general.
Yeah.
For a long, long while, those of you who are young like us will know nothing of the world pretty much pre-1950s, but in that world, gay marriage was looked at way differently than it is today. And it took the courts until, the modern era, the 1960s and later, to step in and say, once pretty much a plurality of the states had jumped in and said, yeah, we think we're going to legalize it. It was at that point that the Supreme Court said, oh, okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense to us. So it could be that they're setting themselves up to do something like that later on, depending on which way the scale, which side of the scale wins. Gosh darn, English is hard.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have the faith in the Supreme Court doing much of anything simply because they've been going back and forth with, outside forces saying that, one party controls the Supreme Court, whichever party happens to be not part of the Supreme Court. They'll complain, these evil conservatives, these evil liberals, they control the court. We need to do something about it. And then, that leads to court packing. That leads to, calls to abolish the Supreme Court, all of which are dumb. And realistically, at this point, the Supreme Court has to play politics not in so much of their judgments, but in so much of how they lay out said judgments.
Yeah, that is pretty sad. Those of you who are history buffs like us, looking back, you had great judges on the Supreme Court, like James Madison.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't Marbury on the Supreme Court at one point? Suffice to say, you had guys like that, guys who didn't let their politics stand in the way of, what was right at the time. But times have changed in the past 200-ish years. It's sad to see that we can't run the court like that. But what can we do?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any one party should run the court per se. The only thing that should run the court is the Constitution. However, I mean, you can argue that one side of the aisle cares more about the Constitution than the other. I will disagree. I don't think either side really cares about it anymore. However, it comes down to one side or the other controlling the Supreme Court. And while I'm against it, it's kind of a fact of nature at this point.
Yeah, it's a darn shame. If I could, I'd like to quickly offer my opinions on what these potential abortion bills could do to midterm voting, though.
Yeah.
I am pretty interested in that still. The way that I see it, kind of one of two things is going to happen. Roe v. Wade is going to get kind of lambasted, 6-3 style, like some of these news outlets are telling me it's going to. Or it's going to be this really kind of nonsense half and half thing that Tim was talking about earlier. And like, if it is what the media pundits are saying, then absolutely the Democrats are going to have a huge lightning rod going into the midterms. That's going to be undeniable. I don't know if it'll be enough, though, to overcome the economy and how we're dealing with foreign affairs, how we're dealing with things even in here that aren't related to the economy. But on the other hand, if it is this sort of, we can let the states pick, but, here's the arbitrary sort of cutoff, I think I was discounting the fact that not a lot will change for a huge amount of the states. The states that already had abortion limitations are either going to just like sort of strengthen those by making them more restrictive, and the ones that didn't have them are going to make it even easier to get abortions, as it were. So I don't know. I mean,
I think. Oh, sorry. I'll let you finish.
I don't know, because like I see this as it could be a great rallying cry for the Democrats. Like it could save them, but I don't know. I don't know for sure.
I think the main issue that's going to come out of this, not the midterms, not the president election, not even like the result of the court case. I think the biggest problem this is going to come out with is a centralization of beliefs. So say they pass something similar to what I'm thinking, right? Where it's, states can make a cutoff, but it has to be after you can cut off after the 12-week point if you want as a state, right? Which would be in line with what Europe has and what a lot of other civilized countries, But what's going to happen is a lot more Republicans are going to move to red states and a lot more Democrats are going to move to blue states. And now we get more into these ideological bubbles, and the country generally becomes more polarized. And I think that is bad for everyone.
So you think the Supreme Court taking a kind of a loser's approach will be the death of the middle, at least on this particular issue?
I don't want to say it's the death of the middle, but it is going to be a factor in the death of the middle, in my opinion. Like sometime 10, 15 years down the line, whenever, inevitably the middle is dead, I think that's when we're truly I think this will be one of the stepping stones.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Almost as interesting as your 3-point prediction on Youngkin. Can't believe you still got that.
I would hope to be wrong about this one. I think the middle is very important for everybody, but
yeah, that's why I'm kind of hoping that that's not what comes of this.
Yeah. Well, come back in a decade and we'll tell you what we think.
Yeah, if we're still around. Who knows? We got crazy loonies all over the world with access to weapons and things that really they shouldn't. So we'll see in about 10 years who's still around.
Well,
we'll see.
You can tell us what you think. Otherwise, we'll see you in the gulags. Hope you all have a great day. God bless.